Hello, good people. How are y'all doing? I hope everyone is doing well, and I pray that y'all had a productive day today on this good Thursday. So today, I want to just drop a word in your spirit from the topic fixed fight. And as we all know, and we can see, especially in the world today, um, that a lot of us are dealing with some type of storm in our lives. Either we ourselves are dealing with something or we're close to someone that's dealing with something. But it's my belief that we're all fighting against something and or maybe fighting against ourselves. But think about this. If you had not had that fight, that obstacle, that storm, that opponent, that adversary, would you know who you are? Would anyone know who you are? But while you're thinking about that, let me take you to the story of David and Goliath in the book of First Samuel. I'm pretty sure you all know that story. Now, if Goliath didn't come to oppose them, would anyone know David? Would he even know what he was truly capable of? Or would he even know who he would have been in the Bible, or what his life would have looked like, or what he was predestined for if he had not taken on that storm, that fight, that battle with the Philistine? In my opinion, I don't think so. I don't believe that it would have ended that way. We probably wouldn't even be talking about David. But when opposition comes your way, you must be ready for it. You must be ready for whatever it comes with. So, see, David already had an experience with God winning battles for him before. So he already knew God's power. He's already experienced that. So he knew all he had to do was bring it back to memory. And that's what we must do sometimes. Whatever we're facing, we must bring it back to memory, because I'm pretty sure that God has done at least one thing for you in your life, has won one fight for you in your life. And whatever we're facing, the first thing we should know is this fight even for me? Is this fight mine? Is this something I need to get involved with? Because some things we're close to it and we might have a stake in it, but we're not authorized to fight. I need y'all to catch that, because sometimes we get ourselves in stuff that we ain't got no business dealing with, and that's why stuff get on us and attack us. It's like, who sent you, right? But once we figure out, or once God says, hey, this is something you're going to have to go through. This is your fight. Now, once we know that, okay, that this is in fact something I'm going to have to deal with, something I'm going to have to go through, that this is my fight, we have to prepare ourselves. And it's not by coincidence at all. I don't believe in coincidences anyway, that David was sent where the battle was, even if it was just to drop off some food and check on his brothers like his daddy told him to. Because his brothers, the army was already there. But everything happens for a reason. For a reason. It's so strategic. God is so strategic. But when he got to the camp, David heard Goliath taunting them. He was going on and on and on. So he questioned the men that was there. Who was this pagan Philistine anyway, that he is allowed to defy the armies of God? Now, to defy means to resist or refuse to obey. But as David was talking to the men, his brother, his older brother, got angry. He became angry in his spirit, and he pretty much scolded him, asking him, like, Shouldn't you be in the fields? Why are you even here? So basically, he was telling him, this right here is for grown folks. Stop being nosy. Go back to the fields and play with your little sheep. But now, this is one of the reasons that you need to be very careful of who you interact with before you go into battle. I'm going to say that again. Be very careful of who you interact with before you go into battle. Be careful who you let in your ear gates, and that includes family. Now, if David had listened to his brother, like I said, I don't think we'd be talking about David. If David allowed his brother's sarcasm and his discouragement and his chastisement to take over or to change his mindset, he would have missed his mark. He would have missed his victory. He would have missed another testimony. And above all, he would have robbed God of his glory. So be careful who you talk to, who you listen to, and who you let speak over your life. But thank God David knew better, right? It's like I said, he just brought it back to memory. He already knew what God can do. And because David was persistent in trying to figure out why are they letting this Philistine run amok, he kept asking and he kept asking and he kept asking. Because he kept asking, his questions got to the person that would grant him permission to do the fight, to take on the fight, to go fight. But for us, our permission should come from God. David pleaded his case with Saul and told him basically, look, I'm not afraid. I know what God has done for me and through me in the past. And he sat there and he told them all the stories. And basically he was like, send me. I got this. They went back and forth. And Saul finally agreed to let him go fight. He even provided him with the gear that he thought he would need. And the second thing that you must be mindful of is what you take to your fight. The stuff David was given by Saul didn't belong to him. He didn't know how to use it, and it didn't even fit him. So he used what he knew that he could use. Let me rephrase that. He used what he was comfortable with. He used what he was skilled with. And we must be like that as well. We cannot go into a fight with stuff that weighs us down, stuff that's too heavy, stuff that don't fit us, stuff that ain't ours in the first place, stuff that we don't even know how to use or been trained to use. That's like saying, I'm going to take this gun to this fight, but you don't know how to clean it. You don't even know if it's serviceable. You don't know how to load it. You don't know how to check it after you load it. You don't know how to take it off safety. You don't know how to fire it. You don't know how to take a stance with it so you can get your good shot, how to line them sights up. You don't even know how to hold it. Take your own stuff with you. You don't need nobody else's stuff. Now, if God sends you to a fight and he gives you permission to fight, he equips you to fight so you can win. Know that you're already won. Come on now. Go knowing that whatever you're about to face or what you're facing in the present is already won in the future. Come on now. Somebody need to catch what I just said. That's shouting news right there. But imagine, right? But notice when David was approaching the Philistine, he had his shepherd's staff, a few stones, and a sling. He didn't let the size of the Philistine distract him from what he knew he could do. He didn't let the Philistine dismiss him, nor did he care that he even thought that his weapons that he was carrying was a joke or mediocre, because the Philistine was like, that's all you got? That's what you coming to me as? Am I a dog? So basically he's like, do you see me? And this is what you coming with? David didn't even respond with the tit for tat kind of thing. He merely said to him, like, you coming at me with all you got, with your sword and all this, that, and the other. But I am coming to you. Don't miss this. I am coming to you in the name of the Lord of heaven's army, the Lord of heaven's army, Jehovah Sabaoth, which means the God, the commander, and the leader of heaven's army. Somebody ought to get happy right here. Can you imagine? Who coming with you? What? And he's standing right beside you. Somebody need to get happy. He right there in the fight with you. Imagine that, like, wait a minute, like, who you got? Who coming with you? But David knew, even with his carnal weapons, the staff and the stones and the sling, that he also had spiritual power and the authority that God gave him. He spoke boldly in Jesus' name. When the others, the grown men that were there, because, David was like a little boy, they were scared. But he went boldly and he spoke with authority because he knew where his help come from. He knew where his power was going to come from. And at that moment, he prophesied what would happen after the fight. How do you know? All he got to do is remember what God did before. And he prophesied that this is what's going to happen after the fight. And he declared that, not just the opposing army, everybody will know the God that he served. Everybody will know the God that he serves, that there is a God. And that's why we should be doing what we're doing. So at the end of the day, they're going to ask, who is this God that they are serving? I need to know about him. I need to read about him. I need to learn about him. I need to get what he's given to David. So he stood on his faith and he remembered what God had already done for him. And he went forth in victory before he had it. Before the victory was given to him, he walked boldly like he knew, I got this. This is how we must be with our own battles. Yes, we fall sometimes. We get weak. We don't want to keep going. We don't want to fight. We don't want to pray. We don't want to go on. We think this is it. We sometimes even refuse to move when we stay stuck. I am guilty of doing all of that. And we think that, you know what? I'm tired. I just don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this no more. And we're at the end of our ropes. But we must remember God's previous actions and his previous wins in our lives. We must tell whatever and whoever our storm is. When I'm done with you, everyone gonna know the God that I serve. When I'm done with you, everybody will know the God that I serve. So speak to that thing, whatever it is. Speak to your troubled mind. Speak to the situations on your job, because sometimes we catch hell on our jobs. Speak to your dysfunctional family, your children that may have gone astray, your finances, your heart issues. And I don't mean a sickness. I mean the stuff that you covered in your heart, the dark things, the secrets that you keep in your heart. Speak to those things. Speak to the people that have betrayed you. Speak to your broken inner self. Speak to your bleeding heart. Speak to death. your tiredness, your exhausted resources, your broken down spirit. Speak to your frustration. Speak to the stress that's weighing you down, that's making you heavy, that's making your body do all kind of things that it shouldn't be doing. Speak to the heaviness that you're trying to walk with, that jealous spirit, that covetous spirit, those dry bones, and anything else that comes against you. Speak to it. Anything else that is not of God, speak to it. Walk boldly in the power and authority that you have over it already. Speak boldly to all your situations. Position yourself. Assume the correct posture. Take the proper stance. Carry the assigned weapons for a particular fight. Wear the proper garment and stand with God on your side. He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. He will not just say, take my hands off. He will not do any of that. His hands is forever on you. And he's going to be there before the fight starts, at the beginning of the fight, during the fight, and after the fight. He's going to be standing with you in victory. And it may not seem like it when you're actually in the fight. Trust me, I know. It's like sometimes you're like, where are you? But if you don't fight, who wins? If you give up, how will you know who you are and what you're capable of doing? If you walk away when he told you to go, that's disobedience, by the way. How will you see the strength that you have in you? How will you see the strength that he gave you for this particular assignment? We're all facing something. That I know for sure. We're all facing something. We're all going through something, especially in these days. But remember who he is, who he has been to you before, what he's to you now, and what he's already done. And most of all, remember whose you are. Remember whose you are. The fight is fixed, baby. But you still got to go through so God can get the glory. Face your Goliath on today. Take God with you and come back with a severed head. I'm going to say that again because I felt that. Face your Goliath on today. And when you take God with you, the fight is fixed. He's already given you the victory. Come back with the severed head of whatever was that was coming against you and give God his praise. It's easier said than done, I know. Because I've said it like, look, I can't do this again. It's easier said than done. Trust me, I know. But all in all, storm or not, he has been good to us. He's been good to us. Praise him on today. Give God what's due to him. He got you. He got you. Give God his praise for the fixed fight. Before the fight, during the fight, and after the fight. Remember whose you are. That is all I have for you on today. I pray that it has blessed your soul. I pray that you are encouraged to face whatever it is that you are dealing with. We all going through something. You are not alone. Your situation is just different. But lean on him. Lean on him. Listen to what he's telling you. Take the things with you that he tells you to take. And sometimes you have to leave some people behind. in order to win your fight. Because they might discourage you. They might talk you out of going. And then you're going to miss what God had for you. You're going to miss showing the person behind you what they can do. It's a fixed fight, but you got to go through it. Be blessed. I love y'all. Peace.